Good morning to you. It is, or maybe it's evening. Maybe you're not watching this live. If you're watching it live, it's good morning. If you're not watching it live, it could be evening. It could be afternoon. Hello. How about we start with that? My name's Adam. I'm the executive director here at the Factory Ministries. This is our Facebook Live. We jump on once a week. That's the goal. Once a week, just kind of talk through updates, celebrate stories and wins. Lorray, it is good to see you. Very good to see you. Tell some dad jokes. We got some good ones today. And usually each week we do something to encourage and speak some level of encouragement into your life, into my life, and just say thank you. We love saying thank you for life. So here's what we're going to jump in. I'm going to jump in with a dad joke. We're going to start with this dad joke because the weather's kind of crazy. It's going to be the coldest Christmas. I saw this is last night in the news. I was caught in News 8. Here in the area. Last night, I saw it's going to be the coldest Christmas we've had in I forget how many years. It's going to be 50 degrees today, from what I saw, 50 some till sometime tonight. And then it's going to drop like crazy with some strong winds coming in and all that. So not going to deter us. Our family plans each year. We started a tradition 4 years ago, actually. So it's kind of a tradition now, I should say. We go down to Philadelphia on Christmas Eve as a family. We go right to Center City there at the big circle that drives around the government building there. What is that building called? I forget the name of that building. It's right there, but it's not coming. There's an ice skate rink there and like a Christmas Maker's Market kind of shop set up. So we head down there, ice skate as a family, kind of do some shopping, have dinner, and then we'll find a church somewhere there in the city. This year, we're going to go to the same church we went to last year, actually. Found one we really enjoyed last year. Do a candlelight service in the shrine. We try and go to a church that's different from what we do here, just to give our kids exposure. But also we try and hit. So last year we found one. It's the oldest church in America. It was so cool. So the building, the architecture, the liturgy, it's just something about it. There's something grounding about it that I really enjoyed last year. So we're going back to that this year. So anyway. All that to say, it's going to be in the teens. It's going to be cool. So I said to my kids the other day, sitting at dinner, before I buy our ice skating tickets, do we still want to do this? And they're like, yes, let's do it. So, well, they weren't all enthusiastically yeses, but they did ultimately land on yes. So with that said, weather's crazy. I went on a serious tangent to get there. So there's going to be strong winds. I heard 30, 40 mile an hour winds. So I thought this is an appropriate dad joke to start out with. What do you get when 25% of your roof blows away? That could happen. 30 mile an hour winds, not likely, but it could happen. 25% of your roof blows away. Do you know what you end up with? Oof. Right? Oof. 20. That's 4-letter word. ROOF. 25% goes. You only have oof. And that's what you'd have if 25% of your roof blew away. Okay. With that said, the next one for you. I've done this one before, so this is a fun one to come back to. Who was the builder of King Arthur's Round Table? You ever seen King Arthur's Round Table, Sword and Stone, all that good stuff? King Arthur's Round Table. You know who built King Arthur's Round Table? Circumference. Okay. One more. And then we'll get some of the stuff and we'll wrap up with, I promise, a few good Christmas ones to end with. But right now, which celebrity is always ready to eat cereal? Now, think about this hard. Which celebrity already eats cereal? I would say, hey, I'm not a celebrity, but I love cereal. Is one of my. Do you guys like cereal? What's cereal? What is your favorite cereal? Captain Crunch, hands down. I know, very bad for you, but I'm like, it is so good. But anyway, cereal. What celebrity? I'm always ready to eat cereal. But what celebrity is always ready to eat cereal? You know who it is? Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon. Get it? There we go. Okay. Here we go. I do promise some good ones, good Christmas ones when we wrap up. So here's what I'm going to go over. Let's talk a few things that have happened here at the factory. Talk about some stories, some things that are happening. I want to share some stories. First one, last week we had bingo, 42 people. It was the largest bingo we've had yet, 42 individuals here. It's just, again, it was festive. It was fun. I love bingo, just watching the connections. They're sitting around round tables, laughter. Again, cool prizes, fun prizes going out with. So that was super fun. Our next bingo comes on January 26th. Also want to continue to encourage you to think community care team. That's also, so they alternate on the second and fourth Thursdays, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. The fourth is bingo. The second is community care teams. Gives opportunity just for, again, the bingo element is removed, but it's still that connection, sitting around tables. And that one also, there's activities that are service oriented to help get things done for the community or programs here at the factory. So that's the community care team. Again, super thing. There was the paint. I looked for pictures of it, couldn't find it anyway, but the painting for Christmas cards happened last week. There was a learning together activity. Learning togethers, there are none planned. There are none. Is that the right English? There aren't any planned for the coming year. But there will be some pop-ups and some things that they're working on. So keep watching on your calendar for that. Next thing, Front Porch will be back in January, along with Blast, the kids program. The Grace Point runs both of them. So they're going to be back in January. So those of you that are part of those, I want to encourage you to jump back in. Or if you would love to be a part of them, check out information on our social media page, as well as head over to Grace Point Church, and you'll find information there. Next thing I want to just mention, tonight is the Youth Center Christmas party. Excuse me, just out in the gym a little bit ago, watching them decorate. Again, it's going to be a fine thing. Santa's going to be here. We'll tell you that. Santa will be here, and there's going to be gifts given out. So if you know someone if you're a young person, I don't know why you're watching this, because hopefully you're at school. So if you're watching this right now and know a teenager between 7th and 12th grade, encourage them to come on out tonight, whether it's your own child, a neighbor, a grandchild, a nephew, a niece. Encourage them to come on out tonight here at the factory, 6 o'clock, for the Youth Center Christmas party. And then as we wrap up, that's kind of our last holiday programming. And then we go on holiday break, if you will. What we actually do is something we believe very passionately. As an organization, we believe in rest, building rhythms of sustainability, and rest is important. And again, as we love journeying with people in this community, but there is a thing called secondary trauma or compassion fatigue. And so as you walk with people and we really journey and are present in those stories, you begin to absorb a lot of those, you absorb that trauma in a secondary way in yourself. And so we as an organization say, how do we continue to build rhythms in the organization that just breathe? And so what we have chosen to do is from Christmas through, since we're like, okay, Christmas, you already get a chunk of time off there. The New Year, let's just close between Christmas and New Year. So that's what we do. There will be some staff in and out because there's just things we have to get done to make sure we continue to stay in business. But the offices will be closed between Christmas and New Year. So if there's something that you're like, man, shoot, I need something, please call us today. And again, between today and tomorrow, I want to try and track anything down we can for you. Or maybe you're just like, I need food. Please reach out to us today. Please reach out. I want to get a hold of you and journey with you in that regard. But then our offices will be closed next week. If you make phone calls, there'll be instructions on the phone system. What do I do if there's things I need during that time? So, but again, that is coming next week. So just want to mention that. Okay, a couple other things that took place this past week. Let's talk about this past week. Here is this one. This is Salisbury Elementary did a food drive. Paradise Elementary did one too. We don't have Paradise's picture yet or the weight. So Salisbury Elementary, now look at this. This is so cool. These are elementary kids who are saying, hey, I want to care for my community. These kiddos brought in 2,415 pounds of food. I mean, if you can put a little heart emoji there, man, click it now and send it out, or the high five emoji, or what. I mean, it is well done. Salisbury Elementary, super exciting. 2,415 pounds. So cool. Way to go. Another thing you might have seen, North Group. I want to say a big thank you to North Group. This is the time of year, approaching the end of the year, you just kind of look back and think of things to be grateful for. North Group was a part of the transition here a couple years ago. That we actually hired North Group to come in. You'll see Natalie there. She's the They're pictured on the screen. We, again, hired North Group to come on in and kind of step into. They were the interim directors before I was hired. And they just a huge thank you to North Group, the consulting group that came in and just did some assessments and said, okay, let's address this and work on that and build here and build on that strength there. And again, just a big thank you, North Group. They've been doing this is their 25th year in business. And so they've been profiling businesses and nonprofits and some churches that they've worked with over the years, over this year, just saying, hey, this thing. So North Group, we were their 25th story as they wrapped up that series this year. So I just want to take the opportunity. They profile us. I want to say thank you to them for what they have done. You can catch that story on our social media or on North Group's page and information. You'll see that there. Okay, some other things. Let me think here. Before I jump, I want to share a story. Oh, CDBG. I want to give you a construction update. For anyone watching right now that might be a contractor or know a contractor, January 5th, we are last year, you remember, we got a grant to work on our gym space, to really focus on the bathroom area, we're trying really hard to get the bathrooms ADA accessible and working hard to get this old building, get the integrity and the history of it restored, but also bring in the modern things that we need to serve people well. So we have some money for that, a grant that came in that got postponed from last year from the whole process. We are getting that out to bid. So again, want to just throw that out, January 5th, pen bid. You're like, what is pen bid? That's okay. If you don't know, that's okay. You're probably not a contractor, don't need to know, right? But if you are a contractor, log on pen bid there. Would love to see you there on January 5th. And just for the rest of you, the community, we're so excited. That project will be happening this spring. And then we have a second grant that is for we're going to begin working on the outside. Now, we haven't quite zeroed in on exactly what we're really going to do with that money that's there, but we're looking at things like redoing the front windows, reopening a door on the side. If you look at the side of our building, you'll see a bricked in door. There used to be a door there. Want to reopen that to give another point of entry into the youth center, into the kitchen area, that just as people bring food, drop food off, etc. And we're looking at the front pillars and lighting out there and just kind of rehabbing the history of the building from the outside. So super excited about that. So that will be coming all through by next year at this time. Both of those grants will be spent and work done. So super excited about that. Okay, so let me look at my list to make sure I've covered. Before, I just want to share some encouragement. I think, sorry, one more here. Sorry, missed this. Domestic violence is a ugly reality. It's an ugly reality: abuse, neglect, abandonment, all kinds of stuff around that. On January 23rd, this is exciting. So we talked about the Naaman Center that's been here. We're really saying, okay, what resources can we continue to give to our community? The Naaman Center, drug and alcohol. So we're like, man, there's not a lot of resources in our community to focus on that. So we've partnered with them. And so we have Dan, an intake counselor here with the Naaman Center. We're working really hard at building energy around get an actual Naaman Center opened up on site. Well, the other thing we've looked at in our partnership with Community Action Partners is domestic violence. We work a lot with single women that are single moms who are housing insecure, who were dependent on a husband, and that husband in his abusive ways, and things happen where now she has been brave enough to step out, but how does she make it? So and then you've got the trauma and all the other pieces around. So we have domestic violence services, the counselors there that will begin on site here. So you don't need to head into the city. You can actually meet them here. She has over 10 years of experience as a mental health coach. Her name is Tanya Mack, which is kind of fun. My wife's name is Tanya, so this is spelled different. This is Tanya. Mine is Tonya. So it actually might be Tanya as I think about it. I'm not 100% sure how she pronounces her name, but she will be here, has 10 years experience. She'll be here every Monday from 12 o'clock to 4:30. So please call our front desk, text, or talk to your advocate to get information on if you'd love to sit down and connect in that way. Okay, with that said, I'm just looking at my sheets here. Looking at my sheets, I think, okay, here we go. I want to end with some encouragement, and I want to tie this encouragement in to a story. So, last week we shared and talked about the Christmas tree lighting, gingerbread house. We showed pictures of that. Matter of fact, I think somewhere here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Let me show you this picture. This is the stage. This is Keystone Church's music team that came over to help and support and lead us in singing in that service. This was the local churches pulling together. There were 8 local churches that pulled together that said, let's serve our community in this way. So we absolutely love this opportunity because we look at poverty. We say this all the time, not just what's in my checkbook, but poverty is in a lot of ways, lack of resource. And it's not just financial lack, it can be lack relationally, spiritually, emotionally, and a number of, we look at 6 key areas. So spiritual is it's a crucial resource, very, very crucial. So we love partnering with those that provide that resource in our community, which are our local churches. So they came together and did this service. And here's what meant a lot to me. There is a lot of trauma around church, a lot of trauma. Have you ever met anyone that is like, I am done with church? Maybe people are even willing to talk about it because of the pain. There's a lot of spiritual abuse. We talk about domestic violence. Well, spiritual abuse is another thing to talk about. There's a lot of spiritual abuse that happens in the context of some of the religious communities at times across our land. There is when you begin to look to connect with your creator, and you step towards in a trusting relationship with someone who's representing that creator in a pastor or a priest, and then that person violates that or judges you severely or strictly, or you find yourself on the outside looking in, or so many experiences can happen that leave people kind of saying, I am done with church. Or maybe you had a dad or a mom who were overly religious, or maybe all kinds of things that happen in this space. And I was a pastor. I've got church trauma in my background. And church was, again, I'm still coming out of a season where I'm like, man, church is hard. Church is hard. And some weeks I'm like, I'm not sure I want to go because it scratches into some pain I have with church trauma. So what really meant a lot to me is I want to share this story. I'm going to read it to you. One of our advocates, after the Christmas wrapping program and then also the Christmas tree lighting, both of those took place. One of our advocates was talking with a mom in the area, and here's what she said. She was talking about the Christmas program. She's talking about how she's going through a really difficult time right now. She would be housing insecure, which just means housing insecure is a term we use to mean, I don't know if I'm going to be in this home next month. You could be facing eviction, could be all kinds of things that fall under that category. And her finances are really up in the air. She comes to our Christmas program, and this is literally what she says. She goes, I want to go home and put up the Christmas tree because now there will be something to put under it. So those of you who bought gifts, can I just say thank you? And this mom, in a way, it's not just I'm receiving handouts. She came, it's like she participated, she engaged, she filled the form out, she made it happen. She put what her kids want. And then when she came, she's actually giving $2. So it's her way of saying, I am doing the work. It's an empowerment system. So she's walking, but you play a role in that. You made that happen. So she's going home with that. And so she's talking about, I actually have hope, a little bit of hope. I'm going home and set up my tree. She also mentioned in this conversation that she was at the Christmas tree lighting. She talks about how she was moved to tears. This is the way the advocate reported, through the singing portion that night. So here's what she said. This is the advocate's words. She told me she has experienced a lot of hurt from churches she grew up in, but singing and carols have been something that have never been tarnished by that hurt. And singing brings up such strong emotions when she hears them and gets to sing them and with them. I was like, that is a huge win. Just stepping into that place of saying, I'm going to be present in this space. There's church trauma. I know there's a church here putting this thing, churches plural, putting this thing on, but I'm going to step in. So I want to say thank you to the churches that made that happen, but thank you to you. Thank you to that mom, if you're watching right now, for your vulnerability and sharing that with the advocate and the way that blessed me. And I want to say this, church trauma, I'd say reach out and get help. Don't walk away. I have so many friends who are walking away right now from church. They'll say to me, I'm not leaving my faith. Yet when I really sit with some of them and hear their stories, I'm like, you're not? And when you engage the scriptures, it is impossible to read the New Testament without seeing the communal aspect. Most of the pronouns used in the New Testament are we, us. It's the when I engage my faith, there is a communal reality to it. And so my heart breaks as I watch people walk away. My close friends, my wife has some friends. I get it. I get it. It's hard and it hurts. But here's the thing I want to remind us of. Things worth doing, we continue to do no matter the pain. How many people have experienced divorce or some kind of abuse, but then get remarried? Why do you get remarried? Because there's something in us that craves that union, that oneness, that connection. And it's worth doing no matter the pain. How many of you have been hurt by your parents, but yet you grow up and think, I want to have children? You could go down through how many of you have been wounded by an employer, but you continue to go to work at another place? Things that are worth doing, no matter the pain, we continue to persevere and step into them. Now, not easy, and it comes with a lot of work, and it digs up stuff and can trigger us, etc. But I want to say church is in that same category. If it has not worked for you, if there is pain in that place, I promise you, there is a church out there that you can connect with, you will find hope in and healing. So I want to encourage you. And again, we have this sheet. There are a number of churches in our community that would love to meet you and engage with you. So again, that's something I just want to say. So I want to say thank you to the churches. Thank you to that mom that shared. I want to send my encouragement to you to step in to those hard places. Here's the thing I want to end with. God is faithful. You see the sign right over turn my finger. Anyway, it's right there. We'll do it that way. I'll just turn around and look at it. I keep a sign on my shelf that reminds me of God's faithfulness. God is faithful. We have this in our boardroom, I'll put my head there, in our conference room, 2 little jars. Again, we keep them there there's a story in the early parts of the Hebrew scriptures that tell of this widow who's facing a hard time. She doesn't have a lot. She's got these, and she meets a representative of God called a prophet. And this prophet begins to say, she's like begging for, she's in a tough spot. And he says, take your jars and go get them filled. And they just fill and fill and fill. So again, God says, step in and journey with me. Trust me. I'm faithful. I will work out all things for the good for those that love me and engage me and step towards me. Now, that is a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to trust. But I'm here to say, as I keep those little jars on our conference table to remind us of a tough spot we were in the factory. And both of those, we had $40,000, 2 separate $20,000 gifts show up that we were not prepared for and didn't know about. And they met the need in a significant way that would have, if not met, jeopardized programming here at the factory. That happened a little over a year ago. So again, just those reminders that say to me, God is faithful. He is faithful. Step into the hard times. Lean in, press in, walk with a friend. Don't do it alone. Get help from a therapist. Talk to your advocate here. Reach out, but don't give up on church. That's my heartbeat. And I share that to say this time of year, this is a great time of year to re-engage church. A ton of churches right now. Tomorrow night, Saturday, and most of them have canceled Sunday, but tomorrow night, Saturday, great opportunity. Even some tonight, like I know LCBC. There's some other community churches that are hosting churches that have been doing. Actually, LCBC had their first, I think, Tuesday night or last night. So again, lean in, step in. I want to encourage you with that. Okay. With that said, here's where we're going to wrap up. Let's end with some laughter. Here we go. I promised some Christmas ones, right? Here we go. Did you know there's a Christmas alphabet? So we have our English alphabet. The Christmas alphabet is almost identical. What's the difference between the Christmas alphabet and the English alphabet? What is it? Do you know what it is? There is Noel. So we only got 25 letters in the Christmas alphabet, 26 in the English, because there is no L, right? There we go. There we go. Here we go. So talk to someone who said to me, hey, you know, my biggest fear is, I said, you know, there's a lot of things on that list. Most people say public speaking's up there near the top, spiders, snakes, the dark, heights, bridges, like what's your biggest fear? He said to me, being trapped in a small room with Santa. And here's what he said to me, because I have claustrophobia. Get it? We think of anyway. That we'll just let that go right there. Okay. And the final one I'll say, as you think about your New Year's resolutions, and maybe some of you are single right now. So had a single friend that was recently telling me about his Tinder bio and how his dates have just been really disappointed lately. He's like, I really want to get married, but I keep going on these dates that I get off my bio and they're not working out. And I said, well, why? He goes, well, you know, in my bio that I have a corner office with a view of the entire city. I drive a $500,000 vehicle and I'm paid to travel. So I'm like scratching my head because I'm like, no, wait a minute. You're a bus driver. He goes, exactly. A $500,000 vehicle, a corner office with a view. I see the whole city. I'm like, no wonder they're walking away and not looking to a second date, right? And none of that, you probably don't want to date that guy anyway. So single women out there, that's not the kind of guy you want. So I would say, yeah, you're smart to get up and walk away from that. Okay, that's all I got today. Final thing I want to mention is it is at the end of year. So this is a great time of year to think about making an end of year gift. I love this picture right now. Kate, our senior director of communication, has this up on top of our Facebook page that, again, your gift empowers. I love that picture capturing some of the holiday programs and the reality of when you make an end of year gift. It isn't just, it's you journeying with us. It's you. Look at it this way. You are accomplishing the work. We're simply partnering together. So some of us are here some of us are here doing operational stuff. Some of us are here doing programs. Some of us are those that are contributing and donating, but we're all in it together. So end of year gifts. Again, if you've been blessed this year and you're in a spot just saying, hey, we'd love for you to consider the factory. Okay, with that said, have a Merry Christmas. We will be off next week, so there will be no live. I hope you enjoy your week, your Christmas. And Lorraine, I always love your laughter at my jokes. I can always count on you, Lorraine. Even when I see you in Walmart, I still laugh at that. When you walked up to me, I was like, my kids laughed at that too. So Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you have a wonderful, just a refreshing time, no matter the situation you're in. I just have been so impressed upon. Jesus came to bring us home to God, to be with us, God with us. So no matter what you face, he gets it. He gets what it is to be you, and he's with you. He's present with you. So whether hard, good, light, heavy, dark, broken, whatever you may describe your situation, joy, he is with you. May you be refreshed by that this week. If you have time off, enjoy time connecting with others, your family, those that you'll be with, friends. Love you, appreciate you, and I will see you in 2023. Have an incredible Christmas.